There were some humorous moments in preparation for this sermon today. I thought one of the names would be real good is If I Were Satan. Then it probably too close home, so I thought, no, I surely can find a better name than that. But it's very interesting that Satan appeared before the Lord together with the other angels. And why Satan chose Job to be the target for his tests, temptation. And I thought to myself, what does that mean? That Satan chose Job, or God allow Satan to test Job? What about us? How would you feel if God chose you to be tested by Satan? Or God say, Ray, you're the client for this experiment, the candidate for this experiment. How would you feel if Satan chose you? Story goes, the heavenly court came together to give account, give the report to the Lord. Satan showed up. God said, Satan, where have you been? Where have you come from? I've been patrolling the earth. All over the earth, I've been watching, checking, see what's going on. Did you know that? That the devil has been patrolling the earth, and especially us who belong to the Lord? I have been patrolling. And God said, well, have you noticed my servant Job? Satan said, well, of course. Why shouldn't he be faithful to you? You have practically given him everything. He's the richest man in that area. In that chapter, it names what Job owned. We call them sometimes stuff and things. Job 1, verse 2 and 3. Let me read that for us. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. He owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 teams of oxen, and 500 female donkeys. And he employed many servants. He was, in fact, the richest person in that entire area. So Satan was aware of that. And so I thought, what would be a good title for our sermon today? How about testing by the enemy? Our enemy, of course, is Satan himself. But interesting enough that God would allow Satan here to test Job. The first test, the test of wealth. Now, I don't know how you would go about testing somebody, but it's interesting, don't you think, the choices that Satan made? He knows that everybody needs things. When he tested Jesus, remember, that was the first temptation. Turn these stones into bread. People like bread. They need bread. So why don't you do that? Here is very similar. The wealth that God, the reason why Job serve you, the reason why Job is faithful to you, is because he got the abundance of stuff and things. Now suppose you take away that stuff, those things, suppose you take them away, he will curse you, I bet you, to your face. He will curse you to your face. Read with me, Job 1 verse 20 through 22. Ready? Read. Job stood up and tore his robe in grief. Then he shaved his head and fell to the ground to worship. He said, I came naked from my mother's womb, and I will be naked when I leave. The Lord gave me what I had, and the Lord has taken it away. Praise the name of the Lord. In all of this, Job did not sin by blaming God. You see, the riches and stuff and things that I read a few moments ago were gone in one day. In one day. Now, we can only imagine what we would do if that happened to us, wouldn't it? Because most of us have, I was thinking about asking the men, not the women. I know the women are more frugal than men. I was going to ask the men, how many shirts do you have? How many shirts you haven't worn in 10 years, still cluttering your closet? All kind of stuff and things that we have. Suppose more than shirt now. We're talking about houses, automobiles, savings account. Suppose all of that one day disappear. What would you do? Will you still be faithful to God? Will you still follow the Lord Jesus? Or will you curse God to his face? All was lost. Now, have you ever heard people say, why me, Lord? When things, bad things, negative things happen to them. They say, why me, Lord? Have you ever asked that question or thought that? When you lose something, I don't know whether any of you lost some in the stock market during our days of bankruptcy and losses and furloughs. But listen to Job's response to his loss.